It's a brand new season in Porsche Payce Carrera Cup Australia. They line up like this behind Cooper Murray, the teenager, with a sensational pole lap and a new qualifying lap record. The experience alongside him of David Wall. A rookie inside row 2. Well done, Aaron Love. Cameron Hill fighting for that Porsche Michelin Junior program, and a huge ticket to Europe up for grabs once again. Dave Russell returns. Max Vidal on debut. Dale Wood always a chance. Tim Miles, your pole man for the Pro-Am class, and a big field of cars. 21 in total. Unfortunately, 22nd car in the field not making it out there. Joey Mawson out in practice.
Yeah, that car damaged too badly to continue. So hopefully we see him back at the Australian Grand Prix. There's so much to look forward to. Young drivers at the front, experience in the middle of the field to work their way forward. And Chad, one of the best sounding grids in motorsport.
Have a listen to this. Round 1, race 1. Let's do this. So the Pro-Am pole sitter spinning through the centre chicane. Will we stay green here because they're still scrapping further back in the pack? It was clean through most of it, right up on the curb as he scrubs and fights with Dale Wood. We'll try to let the field breathe through and listen to that beautiful sound, and then Miles went slipping out of contention and he's stuck and out.
And where that car is on the basically square to the apex of turn 4, that fast run up to Wakefield Street, there'll be a safety car for sure if he can't get that car fired up. Not a great start for Michael Arman. He dropped back to 10th place. He's squabbling with Devash and Padiachi. On the other hand, Cooper Murray's launch from pole was timed to perfection. Not a shred of wheel spin in car 36. Clean start all the way down to turn 1. Max Twigg passed by Stephen Grove at 9. That's the Pro-Am battle. It's being led by Dean Cook at the moment. What a start for the poleman, though. He's cleared out, and he's got 10 car lengths over the former champion in David Wall.
That's in an awkward spot. Now they're just making it back towards the control line. No sign of a Vodafone safety car yet as they arrive down here. And now double yellows. So it's the international pretty much warning sign for any race car driver to display extreme care. They've done a great job getting that car out of there. Well done.
That's an enormous effort, just as the field got back to them. Double wave yellow recovery, no safety car. Brilliant job to all the men and women that volunteer at these events to recover Tim Miles' car and just drag it up to the runoff area there at Wakefield Street. We can stay green with 14 laps to go. Brilliant stuff.
Sounded like a double kick to get that car going for David Wall. He was beaten fair and square by Cooper Murray off the pole. Since they introduced the launch control, it's always been in the back of David Wall's mind. Never been able to get these cars fresh off the start.
He's not a massive fan of us talking about it either, but that's the way it is. And the statistics aren't brilliant since it came into effect, because his qualifying pace is generally very good and he ends up at the front of the field. But one thing Cooper Murray showed us last year, Chad, is that his cold tyre pace is exceptional. Gets the Michelins turned on very, very quickly in a race. Stephen Grove around, the 3-time champ. Bathurst winner just a couple of weeks ago.
Big names in Pro-Am having some struggles here. This is anyone's race back in that second class battle. What a mixture of young stars and experienced heads we have in this battle pack. Dale Wood further down the order than we're used to seeing him. Now what's happened here with Grove? Cook coming across on his line a little bit. Grove puts a bit more pressure on the brake pedal.
And a big change this year, Chad, is that the Pro-Am competitors no longer have access to ABS. It was a storyline last year. This year, the whole field ABS-free for the full season. We've seen throughout practice and qualifying some of these guys being unstuck by that, locking brakes and tyres going into a corner. And there, perhaps Grove just a little bit too ambitious under brakes into turn 9. And fortunately for Dean Cook, he wasn't turned around. There wasn't actually contact there. So Grove came off second best. Cook, who's only got the one Pro-Am win to his credit in Carrera Cup history, continues on in the lead. He's got Max Twigg behind him. A near miss, and Stephen Grove, who won at Bathurst in the Pro-Am class there 3 weeks ago, has to do the job from the back of the field.
So Max Vidal, who's been moving up through the ranks, but has only really had drivers his age and experience to contend with, is about to get a real lesson in what it's like to run on the big stage, because he's got Dave Russell, a man with an immense amount of experience, filling his mirrors. So this is a great opportunity to get some proper miles around some experienced drivers.
So 3 laps in now, the Michelins will be up to somewhere where they like to be in terms of operating temperatures and pressures, and the lap times are showing that. 23.0 for the leader. Wall quicker though, 22.7. The gap now 0.6. It was out to a second after 2 laps.
Just watch the front row here. Let's check out a replay at the start. Obviously the 0 to 100 on the 36, it was pretty quick.
Sub 3. 2.8, 2.9 is a really good start in one of these cars, and that was pretty close to it. Just about perfect. Cameron Hillaway brilliantly as well from the gripped up right-hand side of the road and beat Aaron Love into turn 1. Now this is going to be a fairly wild ride. This is Tim Miles from Ashburton in the South Island of New Zealand, goes down the inside of Grove, so his start wasn't great either. And they're wheel to wheel. Oh, he was helped. And it was Grove, the only car around, so Cam McConville's first day back on the job as the series driver standards advisor. Just got busy tonight. Have a look at that one. Quite a lot of damage to the front, but for such a high-speed bit of road, probably feel like you get away with it there with just some front damage to the front corner of the Miles Advisory Partners car. And this is Dale Wood going down the inside of his teammate. These have different liveries, but they're both from Sonic Motor Racing. Really good bit of driving. Max Vidot opened the steering when he saw the runner-up from last year's championship going down the inside, barreling down the inside. That's an experienced move from one of the more experienced guys in the field.
And he's also lost out to Dave Russell there as well at some point, so he's lost a couple of spots in that battle pack.
But again, good driving, and that could have quite easily been contact, which wouldn't have put a smile on team boss Michael Ritter's face. He'll be grinning, though, that they're continuing on. And Max has been terrific this weekend. But what a battle we're building for the lead. And Wall, Hill, Love have all closed into the back of the McElrea Porsche that leads the way. The margin officially 0.8. It's just a couple of Porsche lengths now. He's got fire breathing down on him from the former champion in 2017 and one of the star drivers from last year.
Great start to the opening race of the year. Working away here in Adelaide. Cooper Murray, your race leader. This is a train of angry Mobile Pro drivers working their way around the gum trees in the last sector, bouncing across the curbs.
Never gets old, does it? It's always the same every year. You get this freight train of battle packs, and Dale Wood, again being aggressive, wasn't pleased with qualifying. I get the feeling he got nobbled a couple of spots actually from where he set his fastest time, but there were a few qualifying laps being investigated after the session for curb hops at that point of road, at turn 2, which is always a talking point when we get here. So he's aggressive and trying to charge his way forward. Up to 6th, Russell in front. Bit of a margin up to Aaron Love, who's in 4th. We're riding on board with Max Vidot, who's in 7th. And if you haven't followed the action so far this weekend, Max is one of the 3 leading drivers from last year's Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. It's the Super 2 to the main game in one-make Porsche racing in Australia. The top 3 in that championship have all stepped up at the same time into Porsche Payce Carrera Cup, and all 3 of them are hugely talented and very exciting prospects for the future.
Thing about this series, there's so much on offer for young stars. It can be used as a platform to Europe, a chance to jettison a young career. We've already seen 2 great examples in the last few seasons. Well,
the ultimate, of course, is Matt Campbell, and it's an example we cite a lot, but in 2016 he was racing here in this championship. In 2020 he is a fully paid factory Porsche professional driver, racing around the world, FIA World Endurance Championship, GT3 races. He is living the dream.
So down towards the centre chicane we go with Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. And this field, angry battle pack of 4 cars have broken away. It's Murray, Wall, Hill and Love. Aaron Love, very impressive in his only 2nd round in the main game of Cup racing here in Australia. Had that one start at the Gold Coast last year, showed some pretty promising pace there as well. Had a chat to his older brother, Jordan, the defending champ, after qualifying. Slide driving with a bit of oversteer, just like his big brother. And he seems at the same amount of time in cars, the same amount of years as Jordan's had, but he's 3 years younger. So all the signs are that by the time he actually arrives at Jordan's age, another 3 years, he'll be very fast.
It's a big vote of confidence from Big Brother. They're not often ones to throw out compliments to Little Bro, are they? This is a feisty battle pack. So it's being led by David Russell, who's 5th. At the back of this train is Devarshan Padiachi in the Rent Corp Hyundai Forklifts car from Garth Walton Racing in 11th place. In the middle of it, Josh Hunt, orange car. Nick McBride, black and gold car. Michael Armand and Max Vidot, the unofficial Team SA this weekend. The pair of Bob Jane T-Mart's entries from Sonic Racing. Sharp new livery on those pair of races this weekend, 77 and the 777. Just that battle at the front, ebbing and flowing. They're trading fastest lap times. And the track improving every lap, the tyres too. This tyre, Chad, we talk about it every year, and it's the same construction and compound that we ran in the championship last season. It's amazing the durability and how they continue to produce lap times a long way into a race. And how many times have you and I called those endurance cup races where on lap 20, they're only a couple of tenths off the fastest lap of the race and still driving them as hard as they possibly can. Yeah, and sometimes setting quick laps late into the race. And it has the ability to still have enough grip in the car to go on and fight in those last few laps. Some of the older guys are really good at that conservation as well. David Wall in particular. So he knows how to play that game. Well, back to the Pro-Am class, and Dean Cook has somewhat checked out here. Big margin over Max Twigg, who's a 3-time champion in the class. Dean twice has finished 6th in the Pro-Am category as Armand gets down the inside of Max Vidot. And that is a change of position, 7th and 8th. 2 Bob Jane cars swapping positions, and see if Mike has got the pace to go after his teammate Darwood in front. So there was some defending going on from the 777. The car was moving around a little bit under braking, so he just moved across and then decided that there wasn't that much point defending that hard because Mike was probably coming anyway. Narman grabbed the spot up to 7th place. It's been a bit of a bogey, number 7th for Michael Armand in Porsche Payce Carrera Cup. Chad, his record's quite extraordinary because on 5 occasions, he's finished 7th in this championship, which, if you take the glass half full approach, always competitive.
Guys, you made the comment before about tyre conservation. Hey, Andy McElroy, you're looking after Cooper Murray here. What's the plan in this longer race in these hot conditions? Tyre conservation, or you let him run?
No, he's driving really smart right now. We need to look after the tyres, especially the rears. As you say, it's the longest race we've got of the weekend, and there's no point sprinting away from the field and then having a safety car, which is also quite a decent possibility around here. So he's doing a really good job of holding about a 1-second margin, and he's just looks like he's in a pretty nice little groove, so hopefully he can stay there.
All right, thanks for the update, Andy.
Yeah, no worries.
Chad, the indication I get from that is that they feel like they've got some in reserve in car number 36, can turn that pace on at will. Greg Ward, otherwise known as Iron Man, that livery looks familiar.
Oh, this doesn't look good, does it? We've got the field on approach down here at turn 1, and he is stuck in the middle of the road. And he's almost best to just not move at all now and let the field negate their way around him. Which way do you go? Some go under, some go over. That must be a nerve-wracking spot to sit as the field comes past. You can see them on approach down there. A lot of curb hops popping up in timing, but there's an obvious reason for that.
Cooper Murray went one way. Everyone else took the curb option. So there's Stephen Grove just in behind. So Grove is on the comeback trail. Whoa. Oh, he's just grabbed the rear brakes going into turn 1. He was having a look at Grove, who'd just gone by the 68 car from Wall Racing. Gee, that was narrow.
Gee, after a full year of having ABS at their disposal, it has made quite the difference. And how close was this for Cooper Murray? He was the only driver to go inside. Everyone else went outside.
Wow.
Wow, that was super close.
Hard in mouth, much.
Oof.
The 18-year-old. And launching to the air, David Wall. These cars don't react well to bumps. They're much stiffly sprung when you compare them to, say, a supercar at that same bit of road. So this is Stephen Grove, who's spinning out of the final corner, and this might have been why those two were running together, because Ward was a bit further back from this battle pack. So Grove's just barreled out. That's not a braking issue, that's just on the throttle too early, and torched the rears, 465 horsepower from the 4-litre Porsche Flat 6. And now Armand, while we were watching all that drama at turn 1, just sliced down the inside of Darwood. So he was released from Max Vidot very quickly got to the back of the 100 and went past as well. So no longer 7th. Mikey Arman now 6th and on the march.
So the net result from all of that, Cooper Murray actually gained half a second by taking the inside line. He technically hasn't done anything wrong.
No.
But he's actually come out half a second up as a result.
And race control will look at that curb hop for second through about 10th place and go, oh, that's okay, you were taking evasive action. But you're right, generally you gain time by taking the shortcut at turn 2, so it's worked well.
He didn't do anything wrong, but he's actually driven away from the field as a result. It never looks good when you do that.
No, it doesn't, obviously, but that goes back to the point we were making before after we heard from team boss Andy McElroy. Just get the impression there's a little bit in reserve in that car. Aaron Love through turn 8 all weekend long has been on the ragged edge.
I have been holding my breath every time that 78 goes through turn 8. He's a Love, he drives it absolutely with some serious attitude. Plenty of time to run here in Adelaide. So this front battle pack has settled down a little bit as a result. So often those yellow flags work against the leader, the catch-up flag. This was the other way around. He's actually been able to make a few tenths as a result, and he's just set his quickest final sector of the race, pumping out some nice lap times now, trying to extend that lead.
Aaron Love's looking racy here on Cameron Hill. He's going to have to think about going defensive, and does indeed, and just gets trapped with those bumps on the run-up Wakefield Street, and it will cost him some more momentum. Love will have a look down the inside, quite close enough. Cameron Hill had a breakout season last year, learned the year before, running sort of halfway up the top 10, really came to grips with it all. It all gelled at Darwin, didn't it? Got it on pole position, won his first race. It was like a massive weight off his shoulders for this little family team based out of Canberra. They've had a really tough summer too with all the bushfires in that part of the world, so they were pleased just to go motor racing here in Adelaide.
It's been a great start of the season in Porsche Payce Carrera Cup Australia. Once again here in Adelaide, South Australia. Part of the bill for the Superloop Adelaide 500. Race leader is Cooper Murray. This teenager is doing a great job. That all Sonic battle still going on 6, 7 and 8. I haven't seen the Sonic cars that far back in a while. It's Aaron Love showing his much more experienced teammates at Sonic how to get the job done here.
So Cooper Murray in his 9th championship round, that 1-round win at Townsville last year. Loves a street circuit, was on the podium at the Gold Coast at the end of the championship last year, and for that matter Bathurst. So if you go well there, you're probably going okay in one of these cars. And he's unloaded with great speed, pole position. He's going to have that weird asterisk next to his pole stats for the rest of his career in this championship, because he was the professional class, the mobile pro class pole sitter in Townsville, but actually was beaten to the top spot, and not for the first time this weekend. This is another look at Aaron Love. Well, that's only moderate compared to what we've already seen this weekend. We had the thing on the rack stops earlier, although it looks somewhat more severe from that angle further down the straight, I'll admit.
He's got that every single lap just about. I don't know what is it about the Love family, but they don't mind driving sideways.
Could you slide a Porsche 991 Gen 2 Cup car when you were 17 years old, Chad?
I can't do it at 33 years of age. I certainly couldn't do it at 17 years of age. And I'd be far too afraid of putting it anywhere near a fence.
I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Freakishly good, these kids.
That's why we love watching them. It's why we love watching them progress. Something about that youth.
But what I love about this as well is that David Wall's second, right in the mix, as always, perennially at the front. We rolled out the stat yesterday that since he returned to the championship in 2016, he was 3rd that year in points. He won 17, he was 2nd in 18, and he was 3rd in 2019. Never out of the top 3 of the championship in 4 seasons of hard, aggressive, tough one-make racing where there's so many ups and downs. And the margin between having a good round, as Jordan Love found out last year to his own peril, the margin between having a really good weekend and a really terrible one is one tiny little moment at one corner. So the consistency from someone like David Wall just proves that you're always in the mix, and no matter how many young stars come in, that level of experience really does pay off.
One thing about the young guys, they're not so much accumulators.
Yes.
They're
Win or bust.
sprinters. Yeah. Got that first or last mentality. Now, Love's managed to spend a lap or two cooling those front tyres down and is now well and truly on the back of Cam Hill. Look at the way he's got that thing dancing around. It's little wonder he's got any rear grip left in that thing. But we saw his brother do that as well. It wasn't just the fact that he drove it sideways. Somehow the thing still had rear tyre life left at the end of the race.
And everyone else scratches their head. And there it is, more of it, sideways, mid-corner, just scrabbling to get the throttle down. Everyone else in the paddock goes, well, we just don't know how he does it. And Jordan was exactly the same, but it works somehow. Keeps the rear Michelin's under.
It's got a really nice run through the chicane. Turn 4 is a passing opportunity, but it's easy to defend. It's not close enough. Hill doesn't need to throw the block, and this is the last lap.
He's playing the long game as well, bearing in mind there's a couple of races to go. Plenty to play. You don't want to end up in the gravel trap in race 1 of a very long, very competitive championship. Back to that point we were making just before. So there'll be a little bit of head smarts involved here, and certainly some coaching from pit lane as well. Michael Ritter on the radio talking to his young charge. And Cameron Hill will be up for that as well. And Cameron's a smart and young enough guy, intelligent enough racer that if he sees a bright orange Porsche charging up the inside, he'll probably let it go.
Oops. Scott Taylor just finding Arthur Race, getting out of turn 11. Now, hopefully that hasn't punched the radiators out of it. They're a very delicate piece of material at the front of these cars.
I like the R for race button. It's a good one.
So last couple of corners coming up for your race leaders. Progressive grid, so they'll start the next race where they finish, which means Cooper Murray in the Phase 8 McElrea car will be on the pole, because this 18-year-old still got it for this year, and he claims the first win of the season. Cooper Murray, this kid is quick. Behind them, it's a finish between Wall, Hill and Love for the top 4. Russell returns for the top 5. Armand ahead of his Sonic teammates. But they're all behind Aaron Love. And further back, we'll go looking for the first of our Pro-Am drivers. It's going to be Dean Cook.
Just his 30th round. He's plenty of experience. This will be his first race win since the Gold Coast in 2017. So it's been a long time between drinks for the Ash Seaward Motorsport driver. Really good performance in a stacked Pro-Am field. He beats home Max Twigg. Mark Sini on the podium, most experienced driver in the field. Just 107 rounds into his Porsche career. So great race. The top 10 at the end of that, covered by just over 10 seconds. Hugely competitive.
So it's Cooper in the home of Coopers who gets the win. Cooper Murray, your first man home today. 1.8 seconds ahead of David Wall. Cameron Hill finishes 3rd for the first race in the year. Aaron Love, what an amazing debut it is for him. He did have that one round last year, but still a huge, huge run. And it's Dean Cook who picks up our Pro-Am victory. Of the 21 cars making it home. Tim Miles, the pole sitter for the Pro-Am class, out of action. Round 1, race 1, and as always, Richard Crowell, plenty to talk about.
Well, we're underway, Chad. Season starts, and it's great to be racing again in Porsche Payce Carrera Cup. Turn 1 dramas, Tim Miles v Stephen Grove. A little bit of contact. That'll be looked at pretty closely after the race. And Miles deposited into the fence in car number 6, having qualified on pole for the first time in Pro-Am in his career. Not the way he wanted to end the opening race of the championship.
That car's already had to be fixed once after a little practice scrape. Now we'll be back into the Porsche spare parts trunk after that one. We stayed green, safety car free the whole way through. There were a couple of big moments. This one for the lead in the Pro-Am class. Stephen Grove somewhat jumping on the grenade, and there was contact to the rear wing there as well, which I didn't notice the first time.
Neither did I, and I wonder if that played a role in the later incident we'll get to in a sec. Darwood on the move early, didn't qualify that well, was pinged in quali, dropped back through the field, but made some nice passes. Grove and Ward at turn 1, but there was an earlier incident for Grove as well coming out of the final corner. And this was so close. The race leader, Cooper Murray, dives over the curb one way, everyone else goes the other. But he's unflappable, this kid. He's 18 years of age. He got close to the lap record, another race win, and on his way, potentially, to a round win as well.
There was quite literally a fork in the road down at turn 1. He jagged one way and was able to pick up his first race victory of the season.
What a drive.